Hi everyone, Pam Gregory, astrologer. I'm going to be speaking to you today about the second half of March and the full supermoon that we have in Libra coming up on the 20th. Now, just before I get to that, we also have the Aries equinox. This is when the sun enters the sign of Aries, and that is also happening on the 20th. Aries energy is very connected to new beginnings, new starts. So it's a very good sign of enterprise and starting to make things happen. So we're going to see more planets moving into Aries over the coming 6 weeks or so. So just see where Aries sits in your chart, and it's a good time to initiate. Now, if we run the chart, if we cast the chart for the sun's entry into Aries for Washington, D.C. at this Aries equinox, we find again that Neptune is angular. It's on the descendant this time, and it's really quite remarkable. I think there's scarcely been a solstice or an equinox over the last 2 years that hasn't had Neptune angular in the geography of Washington, D.C. Now, the upside of Neptune, as many of you will know, is it's connected to unconditional love and compassion and connecting to source and our creativity, our spiritual impulse. But at a lower level of expression, it's connected to secrets and scandals and leaks and deceptions. And really, this theme of Neptune is very strong through the whole of March because, of course, we have the new moon in Pisces on the 6th of March. So this could suggest that secrets are coming out, deceptions are being revealed, and where Neptune is on the descendant, it could be that those could be involving other countries too. So be interesting to see what unfolds. Again, if we're looking at where planets become angular and therefore stronger, Uranus, the planet of the unexpected and surprises, is angular, running across California, so we may see some sudden changes happening there. But that is a very powerful point, and it really is like striking a tuning fork. With solstices and equinoxes, it's like striking a tuning fork, the background of energy for the next 3 months. On the same day as the Aries equinox, we have the full supermoon in Libra at 0 degrees and 9 minutes of Libra. This is happening at 6:42 p.m. Pacific on the 20th and 1:42 a.m. the next day, 21st UK time. Now, I seem to be saying this all the time, but this is a very powerful full moon for many reasons. Firstly, it's a supermoon, and it's the third supermoon in a row. And with supermoons, it means that the moon is closer to the Earth in its orbit because its orbit isn't equal, it's elliptical. And even sailors know that when we have supermoons, there's a much stronger gravitational pull on the tides, also on the tectonic plates, and indeed on our psyches. We feel the emotion more strongly at a full moon if it's a supermoon, because at full moons, it's always the peak of the moon cycle. Feelings are often coming to a head at this time. So one of the reasons it's very strong is because it's supermoon. Another reason, as I've said, is because it's happening on the same day as the Aries equinox. Another reason is because it's happening on the world axis. 28 of the mutables to 2 degrees of the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, those points are the world axis. Essentially, it's 0 of the cardinal signs. So that's another reason it's so strong. It's also the 5th full moon in a row at 0 degrees of its sign, and that really emphasizes this theme, which I've talked about in the last couple of videos, of a sense of endings and beginnings, a sense of real transition for us from the old paradigm, the old ways of being, social structure, political structure, all starting to be challenged as we move into a very different paradigm. Now, we will see more of that new paradigm when Jupiter and Saturn move into Aquarius in December 2020, and even more of it when Pluto moves into Aquarius in 2025. But it is this sense of transition from the old to the new, particularly around things like power structures in society, and that's emphasized by Pluto in Capricorn, which I've talked about. The other reason, and lots of reasons this is such a strong full moon, is that zero of Libra is not only on the world axis, it's also on the supergalactic center. It's conjunct the supergalactic center, which is at 2 degrees of Libra. Now, this is an enormous, powerful point in the cosmos, a huge vortex of energy and cosmic radiation. And interestingly, it's very connected to relationships. And of course, the sign of Libra is the sign most connected to relationships. So if you want to really read up about this, I will defer to an excellent astrological researcher by the name of Philip Sedgwick, who has researched and written a lot about the supergalactic center, and he's done it very comprehensively. So I will refer you to him. But it's almost an obsessive quality that comes into relationship when you have planets, particularly your relationship planets, your Venus, your Mars, your ruler of your 5th house, romance, ruler of your 7th house, long-term relationship, in aspect to the supergalactic center. So this full supermoon is very much connected to relationships, and that's reinforced again by, if we look at the relationship planets of Venus and Mars, Venus is at 23 of Aquarius, exactly squaring Mars at 23 of Taurus. Now, the sign of Aquarius, Venus is your emotional connection to your partner and to people in general. Aquarius is all about freedom and independence, and don't box me in. You know, I want variety, I want stimulation, I don't want sameness. Whereas Mars, your physical connection in a relationship, is in Taurus. Taurus is, I don't want any change, I don't want anything to shake the boat, I want stability, I want things to stay as they are. So the square indicates the conflict of those principles, and they're both in fixed signs. So we could develop very fixed views about how those things are operating in relationship. Do we want the safety and security if we're in a relationship, or do we want more freedom and independence? That is likely to be the clash. That theme is reinforced again by Eris, the asteroid of disruption, at 23 of Aries, the sign of independence, squaring a stellium of Saturn at 19 of Capricorn, Pluto at 22 of Capricorn, the South Node at 24 of Capricorn. Capricorn is all about control. Again, keeping things as they are and tight control. So here we see very, very clear themes set up around relationship. Do you want to stay in the relationship? It may be a bit controlling and samey, or do you want your break for freedom? And we're likely to feel those things quite intensely. If this full moon is falling in your 5th house, your 7th house, or aspecting the rulers of those houses. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please check out this link above. That will take you to my store. Get a 2-part video series that will explain all of this for you. And you can also download a free birth chart from my website, and off you go straight away to give much more meaning in your life. So if you have a what does this mean for me question, that's how you get the answer to that, because I can't answer it because I don't know everyone's birth chart. Okay, so very strong around relationships. So relationship issues likely to come to a head at this full supermoon. We also, of course, at a full moon have the sun and moon in opposition to each other. So the sun is in Aries, it's all about me, and the moon is in Libra, it's all about us. And again, that will be part of the issue. It's all about me versus how much do I want to be in relationship. But the other thing, very interesting thing, is coming back to the supergalactic center at 2 degrees of Libra and what Philip Sedgwick says about it. He said there is no more potent point of healing than that of the supergalactic center. Those are his very words. So once we can integrate these swings and strong feelings about relationship and develop a sense of balance, again, reflecting Libran energy, we can become an incredibly powerful healer. And what's very interesting is in the charts of healers, I so often see the supergalactic center, 2 degrees of Libra, very prominently in those people's charts. It could be angular, midheaven, ascendant, it could be on their sun, their moon, or the houses that are connected to healing. So it's a very, very powerful point. And of course, that theme about healing is reinforced by the sun being conjunct Chiron, again at the world axis, right at the beginning of Aries. So some very, very interesting and clear themes that we're experiencing here. We also have a beautiful conjunction between Neptune and Mercury. Mercury is retrograde at this point at 18 of Pisces. Neptune is at 16. So this, as I've often talked about this combination before, it is beautifully inspiring. It is creative, it's imaginative, it's poetic, it's really magical energy. It's connected to altered states. You see this combination, particularly in Pisces, in the charts of poets and musicians and artists. It's an altered state which is inspired by spirit, if you like. It's a connection to source, a connection to oneness. It's where we can shift from 3D reality to just have that very fine perception on whatever we're creating with or from. So it's wonderful in that sense. Again, its shadow sense is particularly because it's in Pisces and particularly because Mercury is retrograde at this time, it can be muddle or confusion or, again, secrets or deceptions or things not being as they seem. So this can again reinforce that this can be a time when things come to light, secrets come to light that may have been hidden, because the full moon, the theme of full moons in general, is very often about shining a light and revealing that which has been hidden up to that point. So very important side of this conjunction too. And by the way, Mercury goes direct at 16 degrees of Pisces on the 28th of the month. But we have our long-running square between Jupiter and Neptune. I've talked about this in the last couple of videos. This aspect goes on until about end of September, October time. So that reinforces this whole thing. Jupiter square to Neptune, Jupiter also square to Mercury here, of big dreams and big horizons and infinite possibilities. It's this feeling of soaring high, flying high, and being unbounded, being unlimited in what we might imagine for our future, for ourselves and for the world. But then we come back to this hard reality check of Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node in Capricorn. Now, Capricorn energy is excellent for manifesting, so we can be inspired by our dreams and then be able to manifest it with Capricorn energy. But these aspects are so different. We can have a kind of swing of energy from feeling overwhelmingly inspired and excited to kind of crashing to earth a little bit. It's a cold, hard, dense, concentrated energy. And those Capricorn aspects go on, certainly the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, go on through 2020. Now, Capricorn, and Pluto in particular in Capricorn, is around power. This sense of power. Where does our locus, our centre of power, lie? And again, it's important that we don't always reference external power, but we have a sense of centre. We have a sense of inner power. And this, I think, is going to become, and again, it's a theme I've been talking about, even more powerful, because we're starting to see some very radical shifts in Earth energy, which is exactly what we anticipated with Uranus moving into Taurus, which it did on the 6th of March. It's very interesting that there's a heartbeat of the Earth. It's actually very measurable. And it's called the Schumann resonance because it was discovered by Schumann in 1953 and confirmed in 1954. I wrote about this quite extensively in my first book, You Don't Really Believe in Astrology, Do You? And very interestingly, since that time, there has been a match, a resonance between us as human beings when we're in a relaxed and creative alpha state, because we are then at the 7.83 hertz pitch, which is the Earth's heartbeat, the Schumann resonance as it has been historically. 7.83 hertz. However, just even in the last 2 years, there have been a whole series of very intense peaks in that Schumann resonance. It is multiplied in some cases by up to 5-fold, almost up to 36 hertz, a massive jump. So they're big shifts in the Earth's heartbeat and resonance. We also know, and again this is measurable, and again it's fairly recent, that there are big drops in the Earth's magnetic shield, and that is allowing in more cosmic and galactic energy. That may be partly contributing to the shift of consciousness that we're experiencing at the moment. There's also quite a speedy shift in the Earth's magnetic North Pole, and that again is measurable because we use it for GPS systems. So there are many very rapid and big and significant shifts happening connected to the Earth's energy. So we, I feel, have to up our game as individuals and be better at connecting our our individual energy fields, our auras, with what is happening in terms of the changes to the Earth. And the best way we can do that is to spend time every day rather than just being, rather than just doing, to be aware of our state of being, to check in on our state of being. And if we find we're running into negative self-talk or same old, to check ourselves and very consciously and deliberately turn our inner radio dial to feeling joy, to feeling gratitude, to feeling love, the highest vibration. And the more we can shift to those frequencies in our daily life, the more we will develop a greater sense of inner power and hopefully be able to elevate our frequency to start to match some of these changes happening with the Earth. That is also an excellent way for us to start to adapt and protect ourselves from very rapidly developing man-made technology too. So, and the wonderful thing about astrology is it can alert us to these changes that are happening, very connected to Uranus and Taurus, many of them, because Uranus is the planet of magnetism. But astrology can help to raise our consciousness just on its own by helping us to recognize that the outer events in our life are simply reflecting the inner. They're reflecting the transits to our birth chart, and always the outer experiences we have will reflect that inner pattern, and simply mirroring what is going on internally, externally. So it's a very good way, once we start observing that, to really start to live at a higher level of consciousness. So a lot happening here. I think all through March we will feel strong shifts in energy right through the month. I believe we have a lot more light entering the Earth's field. Part of meditation, part of some of the things I've just talked about, will increase the amount of light you have in your body, which is a wonderful thing for our health and our frequency. And but big emphasis on relationships, and also on truth and non-truth all the way through the month. Emphasize that at the new moon in Pisces is what's true and what's not. What can we believe? What can we not? What can we trust? Can we use our own inner guidance and intuition to know what is true? So, fascinating and very intense time. Really hope you enjoy this amazing full supermoon that is so powerful for us. If you'd like more information about my books, my monthly newsletter, which is very detailed, my tutorial videos, just check out my website, pamgregory.com. And thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the full moon.